Shalom, fam. How you guys doing today or tonight? Whenever it is that you're watching this, I pray that you guys are all doing well. I'm doing well. My family's doing well. Thank you for your prayers if you're praying. I pray that my prayers are, positively affecting your lives. And if they are not, I pray that, they start to kick in soon. All right. I try to stand in the gaps for Israel when I can, whenever it occurs to me, whenever, it crosses my mind, to pray for those of us who are in this truth and those of us who are not in this truth. I pray for the lost and the found. I pray that the lost might be found and the found might stay on this path of truth and never go off of it, because just because you're here and you're in it doesn't mean you're going to stay in it, and it doesn't mean you're going to make it to that wilderness experience and not be one of the rebels that get purged out. All right. And because I think of it like a father, and I love all my children. All right. And I want my children to love each other. All right. I want my children to love each other, and I want my children to want the best for each other. You know what I mean? And so I know that's what the Father expects of us. He wants us to want the best for each other, even if we know everyone isn't going to receive it. You're still supposed to want the best for them. You're supposed to want them to correct their behavior. And so that you should want them to be the best versions of them that they could be. All right. So interceding for Israel, man, it's a righteous thing. So you're not gonna hear from me all at all. I ain't praying for two-thirds. I ain't praying for these wicked ninjas. How do you know who's wicked? We were all wicked until we weren't. We were all clueless and lost until we weren't. At one point, we were all in the dark, groping around and doing the wrong things. We all got the stories of our past and what we used to be and what we used to do. How are you now sitting in the position of judgment and trying to condemn those who are still sitting in their folly? But you know how it works. You know, one day they can be in folly, neck deep, eyeballs deep, and the next minute, they can be awakened. They can be in this truth. They can be saved from drowning. So your job isn't to judge them while they're drowning. Your job is to try to throw them the life preserver. That's it. All right. Throw them a life preserver. They have to take it. They have to want to save themselves. Okay. And they have to trust in you, and what you're throwing to them is indeed a life preserver and not an anchor. All right. So there is nothing new under the sun, right? This is where I'm going with this before I go too far. All praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right. Thank you, Abanawa Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, for the gift of your spirit, for the gift of wisdom, knowledge, understanding, all the fruits of the spirit, for increasing us and protecting us from ourselves and from our own desires and from our own thoughts and imaginations and so forth, and for protecting us from the same from our enemies. All right, King Solomon told us something that should sober every awakened Israelite when you consider that what he's saying is absolutely true. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 15, he says, that which is, I'm sorry, that which hath been is now. So whatever have existed before, it exists now. And that which is to be, wow, let me get this together. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been. And the Most High requireth that which is past. What is this saying exactly? All right, that which hath been, that which used to exist, is that which is to be. It's going to exist again. All right, it's going to exist again. All right, that's why it says, and that which is to be hath already been. That includes people, that includes circumstances. Okay, and so when you think about this, and then you think about our history, You're supposed to say, man, there's nothing new under the sun. That means Israel has to be doing this, and this, and this, and this, and this for this to be a true statement. And it is a true statement, right? All right. So he says, that which have been is now, and that which is to be hath already been. All right. And so there is nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under heaven. There's nothing new in all the earth. So that means whatever Israel was doing back then, Israel is doing now. All right. We have different names, different faces, same spirits, same sins, same consequences. All right. So if nothing is new, then the old sins must still exist, right? What is sin? Transgression of the law. All right. The old sins must still exist. You must have the Pharisees back. You must have that large conglomerate of wicked Israelites who really didn't like Yahweh's way, aka the Father's way, because all he did was push what the Father told him to say. All right. So Israel has, again, if Solomon is right, and he is, um, Israel still must be worshiping false idols, chasing forbidden power, mixing truth with deception. All of these things have to still be relevant and, absolutely the case today. Not something that's passe, not something that used to be, but no longer is. No, it still has to be. And it is. All right. Because that's exactly what we did before captivity, all those things. So we have to be doing them now. All right. So, excuse me. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. The thing which has been is the thing that will be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. All right. And there is no new thing under the sun. The Most High sets up his program how he wants to operate. That's why you have the cycle of Israel going into captivity, coming out of captivity. Well, before that, it was, um, I'm going to send you a judge, right? All right. Then you guys are going to do well for a time. Then you're going to start to mess up again. Then I'm going to punish you. Then you're going to cry out. Then I'm going to send you another judge, and you're going to rinse and repeat, do it over and over and over again, right? That's how it started. And then we got to the kings. All right. Then he developed a pattern with the kings and with captivities. Okay. And if you understand the nature of the number seven and that it means completion, then you have to understand that there has to be one more captivity after the ones that we all read about and hear about in the Bible, right? So that is a captivity that we are at the end of right now. I say that to say this for those Israelites who are Christianites or fence straddlers, right? And they don't quite buy in, they don't quite believe. I ask you, um, this is a sidebar, by the way. I ask you, when you read the Bible, when you see the pattern of the Most High, because even children learn how to, read patterns in pre-K and kindergarten, right? How come you haven't recognized the pattern? Israel messes up. Israel goes into captivity. Most High sends a nation to go a war against his people and put them in captivity, make them POWs, right? And again, that's why we don't get no reparations. POWs don't get reparations. You understand what I'm saying? People who were, just done wrong, get reparations. All right. That's why Most High gave reparations to our people coming out of Egypt because they weren't POWs. They didn't go over, they didn't come into Egypt as POWs. They came in as, just citizens migrating. They were welcomed in. Right. So then once they were turned on, it made them worthy of reparations because they had, they didn't go into that circumstance via war, becoming a POW. Okay. And so this is how we ended up in our current situation. But if we aren't the people, then where is that seventh captivity for the people that you believe are the people? Who do you believe are the people? Show me their seventh captivity then. And show me that seventh captivity lining up with the scriptures. Because the scriptures describe that captivity, what it would be like, how it would all unfold. Show me that unfolding. All right, I done seen a few videos, so now I'm addressing like a couple different mindsets all at once instead of trying to do a whole nother lesson for that because I'm just flowing in the spirit, right? And so there is no new thing under the sun, fam. We're guilty of the same crimes, doing all the same wrong things, excelling in the wrong things, right? Wise to do evil, having no knowledge of how to do good. That's Israel, right? And this is the reason why we all need uh, grace, why we all need grace, and why we all need mercy, because it was all of us at one point. And if you stay in this for too long, because it is not for you to come out, that's to your destruction. You know what the end is going to be for those people. So I say that to say this. When I At the end of my videos, I normally say be a blessing to someone else. Each one reach one, right? I'm getting somewhere with this. Is that I really want to push to you guys to be my tree of learning, right? I say mine. It's Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. I am just the physical instance of that right now. But before me and above me, you know who's above me. I put no one else above me. So you don't have to worry about me passing on any vain philosophies of men because I filter everything through the scriptures what that I teach you. Okay. It'll come through the scriptures. If I can find a precedent for it where something is specifically being said, is it being said in a roundabout way? Is there an inference to it? Can I find something close and then do the math on it to see, well, is that accurate? Could it be accurate? What is the possibility or the probability that it's accurate? Probability, not possibility. What is the probability that is accurate? Give me a percentage on that. All right. If it's a high percentage of probability, then I'm gonna err on the side of caution and say that then it is. It is that then. Okay. And just the same, if it shows that, it's not a high probability, that it's a low probability, then I'm gonna go the other way. All right. All through the spirit. But this is how we are supposed to move through life, though. All right. Remembering our past. Otherwise, we are doomed to repeat it. Okay. And this would happen to all of our generations, forgetting about the past. How many times did the Most High say, I saved them, and then through process of time, they forgot about me. They forgot about my goodness. They forgot what I did for them. And then they went back to doing the same old, same old. They got them in trouble the first time, right? This is a pattern. Okay? This is a pattern. Us forgetting the past and then becoming guilty of it, of committing the same sins as our forefathers, doing the same things that got them in trouble. Now, see, this is the one thought where the Old Testament only Israelites get it right. You see, it's that thought that makes them not be believers in the New Testament. You see, because they're stuck on knowing the history so much because they're obsessed with the history, the traditions and stuff, right? They become a fanatic for the traditions and they see the scriptures about how our ancestors constantly got in trouble for not obeying the law, right? And so in their mind, this law has to be the law of Moses. And if they got in trouble for not upholding it, then I'm not going to be the one who repeats what they did and get in trouble. But little do they know they're repeating it anyway because they're not keeping the 613 laws the way they're supposed to. So they're still messing it up anyway. But at least they got that one part right. At least to be able to think that way, to say, you know what? I don't want to repeat the sins of the past. I don't want to get caught up idol worshiping and blah blah blah. And so this Yahweh Shai character, he has to be an idol, blah blah blah, because anything outside of the Father is an idol. See, that's their rationalization. That's how they think. That's how they calculate. That's the math they do. And on the outside, it seems like wisdom to just think that way, because it is wisdom to think that way. But then where the lack of wisdom shows is that there is no discernment, though. No discernment to say, that's true. And although that's true, the most Father did say he was going to send us Savior. He was going to send us someone. He told us what was going to happen, what his life was going to be like, what he was going to do, what he's going to accomplish. He does say that in the Old Testament. He talks about salvation and how he's going to save us. But if we're under the law, right, and the only way we can repent or whatever, we got to do offerings because we're under the law, right? Well, we got to do our sin offerings and our guilt offerings and all these things. Wait, but we're not in our own land and we don't have the Levitical priesthood and we don't have a temple and that's impossible. Wait, so maybe the Father is doing something different now than before. Because if he said salvation is going to come, but we can't, and we can't be saved without the temple and without the Levitical priesthood, we can't be forgiven for our sins, and we're all sin laden. Oh man, we're all screwed, right? Unless the New Testament checks out, unless the New Testament is accurate, unless this is the way the Father decided he was going to save us. He told us he was going to do it. In my own wisdom, I couldn't figure out how it was possible. But this right here makes it possible. And it makes sense because he said he was going to do it. Discernment, right? But see, so many people are lacking. And so you're not properly, you know, getting the most out of the lessons if that's the case. Because you're not just supposed to hear this, you're supposed to apply it, you're supposed to live it and embody it. You're really supposed to live it like you know it. And you're supposed to always consider these heavenly things, the things that you know are spiritual truths. But Israel, right? Even in this truth, many come in, they got a zeal, they start learning these things and they believe and they be in it for a good amount of time. And now all of a sudden, you start forgetting again. Man, Israel, we got a bad case of short-term memory loss, right? We quick to forget. All right. And then we'll fall into folly without even realizing. You know what I mean? So, verse 10, is there anything whereof it may be said? See, this is new. Is there anything? That's key. This is how you know regeneration is real. Solomon, in all his wisdom, all right, that the Most High gave him for the benefit of the rest of us, right? And to show forth his power. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? See, that right there is for those people who, when they were hearing the other scriptures, they were saying, well, no, that's not talking about people, though. That's just talking about maybe. I believe you when you say it's talking about circumstances and predicaments you can end up in, that those things recycle, and that's not new. But I don't really see that it's talking about people, though. So that don't really help your regeneration case, Yahweh Ram. Well, verse 10 says, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? See, now that kills it. That kills that thinking right there. See, this is the Most High, man, how he gave us the answers already. He already knew what the naysayers would always say. He already knew the rebuttals. And he gave us rebuttals to their rebuttals already. But are you using the scriptures like a spiritual weapon? Is that what you're doing? Or are you just being comforted in the scriptures and you come for entertainment or for a good time really quick, but it's not transforming you though. It's not changing you and it's not sticking with you to the point where you could use what you learned to do spiritual battle against Satan in his fight against the truth, in his fight against our Father. Are you able to pick up the sword? If not, then that just means it was never for you to do. And, I'm not here to be one who, wags the finger at you for that, because it's all the Most High's doing. Okay. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us, people and all. Nothing new. All right. Nothing new. There is no remembrance of former things. Why is he saying this? Because he's talking about people. You live again, you regenerate, but you forget your past lives. There is no there is no remembrance of your former lives, your former experiences. But regeneration does exist. Neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. Okay? All right. Like talking about us. Like right now, we may know about things to come, but then say you died and you come back real quick, right? You're not gonna remember about those things that you once upon a time knew was to come. You're gonna have to learn those things and discover them all over again. You don't remember, your memories don't carry over. Okay. And this is important. This is why I'm kind of being on this for a long time, because I'm trying to knock out a few birds with one stone, right? All through the spirit. The spirit keep taking me different ways to accomplish different goals inside of this one lesson. So, this one isn't just completely all on the one lesson. I'm kind of pinballing right now onto different things because I've been seeing a lot. And I know what's constantly going on out here in the world and within our community, right? So I know all of these different topics, these different points that need to be touched on. All right. No Diddy. You feel me? All right. So let's get Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 18. The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the woman knead their dough to make cakes to the queen of heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. All right, this is what Israel has always done. Family, family, listen up, please, for your sakes and the sakes of your family. Stop following and stop listening to anyone out here with a spirit that's making them say stuff like, um, all acknowledgement to the earthly mother, to the earthly mother, right? And foolishness like that, and divine feminine. You hear phrases like that, divine mother, divine feminine, things like that. Run, run. That the Holy Spirit is a woman. Run. Referencing the Holy Spirit as a she. Run. That is a direct insult to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. That is the spirit of the Father. That is the spirit of the Father. Now, there are many aspects of him, but to call his spirit feminine, no, see, that's masculine. Masculine is just able to produce masculinity and femininity. See, you're like, what are you talking about? This is the reason why the Most High was able to start creation by taking, and he was trying to tell us something with the way he did this. Why he started with a man. Because remember, the Most High, if he wanted to, he could have started with a woman. He could have made Eve first if he wanted to. In all his wisdom, he chose to start with a man first, okay? To show us something that out of man can come a woman. So that you wouldn't refer to him as being feminine, aspects of him as being feminine. You're no better than the people who say, oh, he said, your God says he's a jealous God. That's a human emotion. That's stupid. I'm going to believe in a God who is no better than a human, because they're not smart enough to say, wait a minute, maybe jealousy is a godly trait that he gave to people because he made people like, like himself a little bit. right? He gave us different aspects of him, right? Maybe that could be why. So they fall into that other line of thinking, and then that gets them in trouble. All right. That leads them to all sorts of foolishness. All right. That's where, all of that stuff comes from, fam. It's nothing new. It's the Queen of Heaven worship, the Ishtar worship, the Ashtoreth worship, all the same quote unquote deity, goddess, right? That's where it comes from. They have just simply brought that into the truth, and they mixed in their spiritualism and their idol worshiping in with our thing, so that to the unintelligent, to the unaware, it looks like they're all worshiping and on the same accord, but they're not. They secretly worship something else, and they're trying to get you to do it too. They're making you a part of the idol worship. They make you an idol worshiper too, unawares. Now, whether they are doing it intentionally, knowingly, or just doing it through the spirit of error, not consciously understanding what they're doing, but yet they're still doing it, that means it's their lot to lead people astray. The Most High gave them over to the spirit of error so that they would be led astray and so that they would lead others astray. And if you are following them, you might be among those people who he want to be led astray, who's not gonna make it. All right. What did he say? If it were possible, they would have deceived even the very elect. It is not possible for the elect to be deceived, because he gives us the spirit to reject things like that. And then he gives other people the spirit to rock with it. Why do you have the spirit of rocking with it? That should scare you into wisdom. The fear of the Lord is beginning of wisdom, right? All right. So again, that Queen of Heaven, that quote unquote, that so-called goddess, all right, went by many names, right? I covered them. Ishtar. What else? We have Ashtoreth, Queen of Heaven, Fertility Mother, Divine Feminine, Divine Mother, Earthly Mother, right? All of these are the different, you know, terms of endearment her worshipers call her. Be careful of these people. I'm helping you to be able to see them, to know them by their fruit. Okay? Different labels, same spirit, and Yahweh hated it. All right? These practices offended Yahweh then, and they offend him now. All right? And this wasn't harmless spirituality. Okay? And the same thing, what else did they do back then? Ancestor worship. We are Moses' disciples. They worship Moses, they worship their ancestors, forefathers. That happened in Israel. You see that among our people right now, right? Heavy on the ancestor worship, right? Nothing new under the sun. Putting putting the law of Moses above the commandments of our Father, putting them above the teachings of Yahweh Shai, who only taught what the Father wanted him to teach. Transfiguration, Mount Transfiguration was supposed to show you not to do that. Don't put anything on par with Yahweh Shai, but not just anything. The Father was specific. Elijah and Moses. That represents the law and the prophets. Do not put the law and the prophets on par with Yahweh Shai. You do not put them on par with my son. Hear ye him. This is my son in whom I am well pleased. He didn't say nothing about being well pleased in Moses. He tried to point you to the person to follow, to listen to, in order to know how to please him, and how to also know how to piss him off so that you can avoid doing that thing. I watch my children when they were growing up, and even still now, watch me and try to learn me to know what gets dad's goat, right? How to push my buttons, how to provoke me to anger, what provokes me to anger, and then avoid that thing. That's respect, and it's smart. Don't provoke me to anger. right? How much more should we not provoke our Heavenly Father to anger? He's capable of a lot more than I could ever do. Okay. So I think about that respect that my children give me, and I say that's the respect that my father demands and deserves. All right. So again, know how to understand what you're seeing when you're seeing it. This lesson is from my heart, man, because I know some of you are following, because certain things are popping up in my feed because of you. I know what you're watching. I know who you're following, okay? And I know what they're saying. And I'm scared for you. And I pray for you. Come out of her, my people, that you be not a partaker of her sins. All right? Let's go to Jeremiah 44, verse 3. Because of their wickedness which they have committed to provoke me to anger, in that they went to burn incense and to serve other gods whom they knew not, neither they, ye, nor your fathers. Okay, so again, nothing new under the sun. This is talking about right now. Our forefathers didn't know nothing about Jebus. You feel me? They know nothing about Jebus. They know nothing about Elijah Muhammad and Islam. All right, though it's very possible they knew Islam by another name, though, and it's also possible they knew Jebus by another name. Let's keep it all the way real, right? But if you keep going back far enough, and our forefathers, like before them, my forefathers, from 100 years, from 300 years ago, uh, knew things and didn't know things that those who came 50 years later knew or didn't know. So we understand how this could be the case, right? And so when we don't know the history of our people, we don't know the things that our people always got up to that got us in trouble. Because we know that there's nothing new under the sun, we know that we are susceptible to these same things. So we have to be on guard for these things. We have to live on guard for what we know is possible. You're supposed to be strong enough in the spirit to know that you are in a daily spiritual battle. You know Satan don't sleep. You know his angels don't sleep. We may sleep, they don't sleep. Okay? And they are influencing and affecting the world in which you live. What do you mean you ain't on spiritual guard? 24/7. You feel me? 24/7. Yes, even when you sleep, because if you are, you know, living right and you're acceptable and find favor of the Most High when you sleep, He gives His angels charge over you. They stand guard. They stand guard. They stand guard of you because of who you are unto the Most High. That you're special to Him. He loves you. He has care for you. You are His peculiar treasure. All right. You are in service to Him. You are His servant. You are His son or His daughter, His brother or His sister, His friend. So He stands guard for you. He puts up a constant defense for you. The angels encamp at the round about the righteous, right? So the spiritual battle is always going, even when you go to sleep. You understand what I'm saying? It's always happening. So what are you doing, Israel? Are you spiritual Israel? Not the way the Christians say it, though. Are you spiritual Israel or are you Jake? Are you uh, Jacob? Wow. Are you Jacob or are you Israel? If you've been around me long enough, you know what that means. And if you haven't been around me, Israel is the name of Jacob after he was found acceptable by the Most High and adopted as his son. So Israel represents us after the adoption, us after the Most High says, okay, now you're mine. You're my son. You're my daughter. Jacob is us in our natural state. It's the carnal side of us. So those of us in Israel who are carnal, who we would call them 2/3 right now, or we would call them Gentile Israelites. Same thing, 2/3 Gentile Israelites, right? But there are even some, some Israelites who are in this awakening who are part of the 2/3. So you can't really throw that blanket on them. But you see where I'm going, right? All right. So let's get back to the scriptures though. So, well, briefly, I just wanted to touch on this just a little bit more because, again, in the spirit, man, I can hear, the stuff coming out of my mouth, and I know this ain't nothing but the spirit trying to save some people. This is the Most High pouring his heart out to his children and trying to save you. And I'm glad to be here for it. I'm blessed. Thought Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai for using me as a vessel to get this out, to get this done. Please, Israel, hear this message. All right. If you know someone who can benefit from this, send it to them. This may be what pulls them on the right side of the fence because the Most High doesn't like fence straddlers. No lukewarm Israelites. Okay. You either love them or you don't. Okay. So Israel's attraction to these powers, right? It brought the Father's wrath, it brought us captivity, and it brought us destruction. All right, our people have always been attracted to, dark arts and all sorts of mysticism and spiritualism and everything else because we know in us that we are spiritual beings and that there's something bigger and higher than us. Just most folks don't ever find the road to the Most High. They don't, learn exactly what the truth is, though. They take the one little baby step in awakening, realize that things aren't what they seem. They might take one more little baby step into realizing, certain lies that were told. And then they might take one more little baby step in trying to find out, well, what is the truth? But then they never go further than that. Things just start coming past them across their way, and they either reject them because they default to whatever it is the first thing that they believed in. All right. And normally the first thing is spiritualism. It's that ancestor worship. It's we're African American. We're from Africa. What was the Africans, people in Africa and the different African nations, what was they worshiping? What was they doing? What was the people in Haiti doing? We always start looking for our identity in other people, right? We don't go looking for our identity in the Bible. So we miss it. We tend to miss it. Okay. And then the Most High, he may just put it on your spirit or create the circumstances for you one day, right? For you to get into that book or for you to come across the right channel and hear the right words. And then boom, the light comes on. But when the light comes on, how far do you go in your awakening? Remember, it's possible to get trapped as an Old Testament only Israelite, which means you're not covered by Yahweh Shai and you have no salvation promise to hold on to. You don't know what to believe. You don't know what the truth is. You're believing in something in vain. You're believing that the Father is going to save you without you, having any love or belief in Yahweh Shai. You think the Father is going to come down himself. You think the Father is going to get off his throne, come out of the spiritual world, you know what I'm saying, from where he sustains everything because he has to exist in his realm where he is in order to sustain everything because everything exists because of him. If he came into this world, he would cease to be, what he is and doing what he's doing. When he's talking about he's going to dwell with us, all of that, he's talking about in spirit, right? He's not going to physically come and be living here on the earth with us. Don't be a fool, okay? Yahweh Shai will be with us physically. The Father will exist in him, and he will exist in the elect. That's how he's going to be with us. He will make us like him. He will share himself with us, and we will be able to tap in to the Godhead. We'll be part of one Godhead, one body. We'll be connected. So it's like he's here because he's here in us, with us. You get it? You see, these are the truths that have to separate us from everybody else. See, we gotta, you know, according to knowledge, we have to have a zeal to the Most High, a zeal of the Most High that is according to knowledge. We can't just be freestyling our faith. We have to be separate and different from the masses. Okay? So we were warned not to return to all these idols, but yet here we are, right? All right. So scripture, like I said before, it teaches regeneration plainly. All right. So Israel doesn't disappear like many people believe. All right. We return, we reappear, we come back in our lot. All right. And when we return without wisdom, we repeat the same mistakes. All right. Same spirits, same seduction, same fall. All right. Nothing new under the sun. And what did Yahweh say? Yahweh said that he would choose our delusions. Here is the terrifying part. Okay. Here's the terrifying part. He said he would choose our delusions. So he either draws you to him or he pushes you away. You can tell whether or not he's pushing someone away by what he allows them to know and believe. But you don't know whether he's pushing them away for good, though, or just for the time being, because we were all being pushed away for a time until he drew us in. This is the reason why I don't try to condemn anybody who's not awake yet, because I don't know who is going to awaken in at the last second, in the last hour. I don't know. He does. So I got to treat everyone like they will be one of those, because those are his beloved children. No matter how fast they wake up, they're still his beloved. Do not forget about, what we learned in the parable, right? Of, the vineyard parable where, he was going to get the laborers for the laborers in the vineyard. Yeah, that parable. All right. The laborers in the vineyard. Okay. He showed us and he told us plainly that, okay, I say plainly, but it was a parable, which means it wasn't plainly, but it was plain to those who he gave understanding to, the fact that you're not more special because you awaken sooner, because I put you to work sooner, because you serve me sooner doesn't make you better than the people who serve me later. Doesn't make you better. See, I remember all of these things. I take all of these teachings, all of these lessons. And that's why I move the way I move. I'm trying to also help you guys to understand me, who you guys are listening to and following, because there may be some new people who don't really know me, and you don't really know why you should listen to me, because I want you to understand that I love you, fam, and that there are many people out here who they don't love you. They don't love you. A lot of them aren't even saying that they love you. Some of them are tricking you. They're trying to trick you by saying that they love you. You need discernment to know the difference, or you're going to die. Fam, you hear me? I don't want you to die. I want to meet you in the wilderness. I want us to behold Yahweh Shai coming together. I want to drop down where I am onto my knees and bow my head when he comes. And know that my brothers and sisters like y'all are doing the exact same thing, because we all know we better hit the deck and show reverence when the king steps on this earth, right? I want to all be doing that at the same time, praying, worshiping, praising and thanking that he's here, thanking the Father that he's here. You did it. It's time. It's time to go. It's time to go. You're doing it right now for us. Right? Thank you. Together, we're gonna be singing those praises together, but separate, right? And then we'll do it together. That's what I want. It's not my desire for any of you to not make it. I don't want anyone to be damned. That's the reason why I don't teach anything that the Bible doesn't teach. Through the Spirit, I may understand it differently or better than you do, but I'm not putting it there. I'm just giving the eyes to see on a level in which many others can't. And look at my spirit, man. I got a spirit of loving the people. What other kind of spirit do you think the Most High is going to give the most amount of wisdom to, man? I mean, like, are you guys evaluating this? I hope so, because you should be looking at me as a person, as a man, as a teacher, evaluating me spiritually. Turn your spiritual discernment all the way up, man. What does it say about me? When you turn it up for them, what does it say about them? Ask the Most High to give you wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and discernment every day. Man, Israel, I'm watching my people die slow out here, die slowly, and it's vexing. To be spiritually sensitive and to see your people on the slow walk, doing the slow bop to death. It's like being a farm animal that awakens and learns the truth. And you know that when they take you out of here, they take you to that shed over there, that it's all bad. And you keep trying to warn everybody, but they won't listen. You just watching them gleefully go with the person to the slaughter. They're on their way to the slaughter like joyful idiots, joyful fools. That's what it's like watching Israel from my vantage point. Man, so I pray for us. I pray that that's not ever me or my household, that me and my body, we're good and we are not going to fall off this train of salvation. And I pray that the same is true for y'all, man. All right, let's go to Isaiah 66. I know it's a lot of flowing in the spirit here, but I'm letting it happen. I can't do nothing else, fam. I can't do nothing else. All right. I know it can't do anything else. See, just to show you, I know how to speak proper English, but I speak the way I speak because I want to speak like that because F this language. This ain't my native tongue. I ain't trying to do it any honor by honoring it in the way my enemies want me to honor their language that they forced on me. Man, please. But I can work the language the way that they work it even better. I'm a cunning linguist. You dig what I'm saying? But I still, talk it the way I talk it anyway to talk to my people. Because like I said, for my reasons, this ain't our language. This ain't no language. That's why I used to be the grammar police. I was that dude. And then I had my awakening, and then I realized, why am I being a grammar police? Why am I policing my enemy's language? Why am I, trying to force my brothers and sisters to be better at the enemy's language? You know what I'm saying? Trying to judge them by how proficient they are at the enemy's language. That's just stupid. That was another one of those areas of growth to me becoming a better man and a better person, a better teacher, all of that. I had to come to all of those thoughts and then use all of that to become better. This is the process of the Most High changing me, man. Do you stop and take thought for the many ways in which the Most High has changed you? Changed you? Have you given him thanks for it recently? Do you thank him for it every time you think about it? This is how we walk, fam. All right. Isaiah 66, verse 4. I also will choose their delusions. I'm going to make you a Buddhist. I will choose their delusions. I'm going to make you a Muslim. I'm going to choose their delusions. I'm going to make you a Christian. I'm going to make you an Old Testament only Israelite. I'm going to make you an Israelite that believes in the law of Moses still being in effect. I'm going to make you an Israelite, that disrespects Yahweh Shai, because I'm going to bring you coming back in your lot. You are his enemies. You are the enemies of the highest right now, back in your lot, doing what you've always done. But he's trying to keep you away from him. So, he makes you keep that same energy, life in and life out. Again, so you know them by their fruits, fam. You should know who's who spiritually when you got the knowledge. All right. Knowledge and wisdom are the fuel of discernment. They have to come first. Okay. I will choose their delusions and bring their fears upon them. Because when I called, none did answer. When I spake, they did not hear, but they did evil before mine eyes and chose that in which I delighted not. And how do you think he enforced this mostly? Through regeneration. All right. Right. Like, say, in this life, you're fighting Yahweh Shai. All right. He's going to punish you in the next one. You're going to come back in the next life. Right. Having all sorts of problems and aren't going to have any idea why. Why is my life this bad? Why am I going through these things? You don't remember what it was. You don't remember what the problem was. But your life, though, is showing you the truth. And then the things that you believe begins to speak the truth. All right. So again, what is your life saying about you? You got to take a real evaluation of yourself, an honest assessment of yourself to learn about yourself. Again, otherwise you're doomed to repeat it. You got to remember what mistakes and sins and transgressions, were normal for me. Those are the areas in which I am most vulnerable to backslide, to fall, to trip up and stumble. So I know I got to work harder to not let myself get in those situations for those things to become uh, a stumbling stone for us, right? You got to know you to know what's liable to cause you to stumble and to fall. And you got to stay away from those things which you know for a fact are a detriment for you. You know for a fact there is no, like, I'm not sure if this had anything to do with. Nah, you know if it has something to do with, right? Because you know you, right? Okay, well, now move accordingly now. All right. When I called, none did answer. When I spake, they did not hear. What? You see? When I spake, they did not hear. Not that they didn't hear literally. It means that they didn't understand. That's why when I talk, when I speak, when I say a lot of the things that I say, teach a lot of the things that I teach, there are going to be other Israelites, man, who would be angry at me and mad and saying, what the heck is he talking about, man? He's a Hebrew Christianite, right? That brother's a bug out. He's going off. They're going to think stuff like that and they're going to say stuff like that. And I get it. I get it because they lack wisdom. So they can only operate within what they know, what they believe. Unfortunately for them, they don't realize they had been given a delusion. The Most High allowed them to believe a lie. And they have no ability to know the difference because they have been made to believe that the lie that they believe is in fact the truth. Well, how do you know that you're not one of them, that you just don't believe lies and think they are the truth? That is a very good question. And my very great answer is because of spiritual discernment, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You see how that just tied all together? All through the spirit. I'm freestyling, folks. Let you know this is the spirit moving. I'm letting you get to see me, man. This is me opening up and really just letting y'all get to see me, get to know me, man. Me trying to pour out my heart to y'all, man, to increase you guys in the places where I'm abundant. I've been gifted through the Most High spiritually, man. So I try to give back what I'm giving because I know He didn't give me this much for me to hoard it to myself. I know the Most High. See, listen, I know Him. So I know that He gave me so much so that I would have so much to give. He knew I have a heart to teach, and I have a heart for my people. I'm a softy, man, when it comes to Israel. You get what I'm saying? So he knew he wasn't giving it to somebody who hated his sons and daughters, someone who hated Yahushua, someone who despised the Father. That ain't who he gave this to. Somebody who would want to try to trick you and make merchandise of you and you use the gift of the word in order to turn a profit. I would never accept a dime, not a single dime for doing this. Man, this is the greatest thing that ever happened to me, man. You mean this? I'm getting my reward already. You feel me? I'm storing up treasure in the kingdom. And there is nothing that makes me feel the way I feel when I'm studying the word or teaching it. Nothing. There is no greater feeling. None. That's who he gave this to. And I have a sense of duty that says, okay, now pour into your brother's cup. Pour into your sister's cup. Tell your brother to straighten up. Tell your sister to get it together. She's tripping out here. Brother, pull your pants up and get yourself together. Quit banging. Sister, get out of feminism. Quit saying ninjas ain't ish. So learn how to take some accountability. Be a better woman, and you'll attract a better man. Brother, be a better man to attract a better woman. Unfortunately, that ain't even completely true because women, for some reason, love the dudes that just ain't no good. Even good women seem like the better they are, though. A lot of the good women really love assholes or the bad boys, right? Because it's completely opposite to them. They like the adventure and everything else that comes with, and the spontaneity that comes with it, all the chaos and the chaotic things, because that's a woman's nature, fellas. They are chaotic in nature, and that's not even a bad thing. This is just the way the Most High created them. And a man brings order to the chaos. That's how he did it. The Most High set it up to where the woman needs the man. That's why Satan is doing a big campaign on the "we don't need no men." You ain't seeing how this is working. This is the campaign of the wicked against the ways of the Most High. He set it up so that women would naturally need men. He made them chaotic by nature so that they would need men and that men would need women. He created a system so that we would need each other, right? He knew what he was doing. So now they're flipping it. Their programming is you don't need no man, you don't need no man, I don't need no man, I don't need no man, I don't need no man. And that vibration and that programming is going out and it's changing everything. And look at it. It's not a coincidence that the same people who keep saying that their lives are horrible. Their lives show, right? Because they created their reality and don't realize it that they did this to themselves with their own mouths and their own belief system. What do you believe and what are you saying all the time? That matters. Be careful what you are telling yourself, Israel. That matters. Okay? Let's get Psalm 106. Most High said, today we're gonna let them have it. All right. We ain't even gonna be scripture heavy today. We just gonna have a heart to heart with the flock. All right. But the scripture's got to come out too. So let's get Psalm 106, verse 35. But we are mingled among the heathen and learned their works. This is what happened. This is how we got into idol worshiping, fam. This is how we got into it. and they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. All right, look at verse 39. Thus were they defiled with their own works and went a whoring with their own inventions. Nothing new under the sun. Israelites are doing it right now. Therefore was the wrath of the Lord kindled against his people, insomuch that he abhorred his own inheritance, and he gave them into the hand of the heathen, and they that hated them ruled over them. Their enemies also oppressed them, and they were brought into subjection under their hand. Many times did he deliver them, but they provoked him with their counsel and were brought low for their iniquity. Nevertheless, he regarded their affliction when he heard their cry. This is that pattern I spoke about before. And he remembered for them his covenant and repented according to the multitude of his mercies. He made them also to be pitied of all those that carried them captives. Save us, O Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, our power, and gather us from among the heathen to give thanks unto thy holy name and to triumph in thy praise. Blessed be Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, the power of Israel, from everlasting to everlasting. And let the people say, let it be so. Praise ye Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All right, when Israel rejects Yahweh, we are handed over. We are influenced by other powers. And so we chase forbidden authority. So this is not enlightenment, fam. This is judgment. I want you to see. All right, I'm trying to help increase your discernment by increasing your knowledge and your wisdom. Okay. Again, the Most High just put it on my spirit, man, to just get into discernment and help. Don't just teach people about discernment. Try to help them like a teacher does. All right. Find a way in order to get them to understand where you're coming from. And so my way was just to open up. Was just to open up, man, and pour my heart out to the fam. I don't want to be preachy. I want to teach you and I want to help you grow. You dig what I'm saying? I'm not here to just, make lessons and then go about my day because I feel good that I've done my good deed. I'm here to try to help and bring about the change in the children of the Most High, that the Most High desires of his children in order for them to come close to him. Because through my own life, man, the Most High has shown me the great joy of fatherhood and what it's like to have your children with you and near you. So I know what he wants, and I want him to have what he has given me, what he deserves, and what he desires. That's my motivation. That's it. Right? So you want to talk about motives? That's mine. What are the motives of the people that you follow? If you become like your teachers, who are you becoming like? Spoiler alert, Yahweh Shai is my teacher. Do with that what you will. Okay? So Israel is Yahweh's portion, not the nations. Okay, so this is the difference though. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32, verse 9. Deuteronomy 32, verse 9. All right. It reads, for Yahweh's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. Okay, let's get it again. Yahweh's portion is his people. Why is it saying that? What is the inference? What is being said without explicitly being said? Yeah, Israel is Yahweh's portion. What about the other people? Whose portion are they? Oh, what is being said here? that there are other powers, principalities, spirits that are gods for other peoples. You dig what I'm saying? Jebus is a god for these other people. So it's not just Yahweh Shai by another name. He has a different name, a different doctrine, and a different image. Look at the spirit in his people is different from the spirit in Yahweh Shai's people. It's different. You know them by their fruits, right? You get what I'm saying? You get where I'm going? Do you understand what I'm trying to help you to discover and learn how to use as a tool in your spiritual toolbox? You understand where I'm going? If this is over your head, then man, I pray for you because that means it's not meant for you. All right, that's why I missed you. Okay, Yahweh's portion is his people, which means all the other peoples also are not his portion. This is clearly being said. He is their God and they are his people. They don't belong to any other gods and he doesn't belong to any other people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. All right? We we are the lot of his inheritance. Okay? So the nations are ruled by other powers. This is why we're always supposed to disconnect from the other peoples because they have their own gods ruling over them. They have their own powers ruling over them that are opposed to the uprightness that is in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And so you can see it in them. Whatever God it is that they follow, they have the spirit. And that's that spirit of error. All right. So, Israel is not supposed to be ruled over by other powers. We are his inheritance, his possession, his peculiar treasure. This is what we were created to be. We don't become this. This is what we were created to be. We existed in the spirit as this before we existed as people in the earth as this. All right. So you got to understand what really is the truth of life. What is going on exactly? We got to be different from the other people in the world who just, they don't understand that there is rhyme and reason to the world and what's happening and what's coming. All right, we know better, and since we know what's coming, we take refuge in Yahweh Shai, right? Right, we run under His covering for protection. All right, the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and are saved. Okay, so not under men's philosophies. You are saved under Yahweh Shai. So all you got to do is believe in what Yahweh Shai said. You don't even need to try to figure out nothing else that these other men are talking about. If what they're saying doesn't line up with what Yahweh Shai said, then you already know to throw it out without a doubt about it. All right. So Exodus 19, verse 5. Now, therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, meaning obey Yahweh Shai, that's what that means. Yahweh Shai is the word of the Father. He is the voice of the Father. He's the one who speaks to the Father and for the Father. If ye will obey my voice indeed, right? And look, obey it indeed in your actions, not pay it lip service. All right. He says, obey it through what you do. He says, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. What is he saying? All right. Here he's being specific about the Israelites who are his peculiar treasure. He says, if you obey his voice and keep his covenant, you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me. Not just being an Israelite makes you a peculiar treasure unto him, makes you above all people. No, obeying his voice and keeping this covenant makes you a peculiar treasure above all people. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. All right. So without a doubt, he's talking to and about Israel. All right. So, but being chosen does not mean being immune to punishment. It means higher accountability. All right. So, speaking of accountability, you see, I'm bouncing around through different things that I saw that are on my mind. Right. Y'all know the Jezebel spirit is not new. Right. It's ancient. All right. Jezebel had that spirit that we know of as a Jezebel spirit. She, through her, is just which that spirit became popular. So that's what it's frequently known as. Right. I don't know what that spirit is really called. Okay. But that's just the spirit that she carried because again, she was into Baal worship and everything else. Right. She came from a different nation of people. And so that spirit that she got from her God is that spirit that we call the Jezebel spirit. All right, because you get your spirit from your God or from your teacher. Who do you follow? All right, that's that spirit that we know of as the Jezebel spirit. And that same spirit, causes people to be into goddess worship and Ishtar worship and Ashtoreth worship and divine feminine, divine mother worship. And you know what I'm saying? The Holy Spirit is a woman foolishness and all of this kind of stuff. That's where it comes from. All right. You got to know it again. You know the tree by the fruit it bears, right? And conversely, you know the fruit by the tree that it comes from, right? So this is why knowledge is important to be able to know what you're dealing with when you encounter it so that you know what it is and you know how to deal with it. Every good woman, every awakened Israelite woman is supposed to be in a full-fledged battle against feminism. If you understood that it's Satanism, right? You're supposed to be fighting against this whole anti-patriarchy, anti-man programming going on out here in the world. If you were really being a good daughter and a beloved daughter of the Most High, you would be out here fighting that battle. You'd be out here putting a different vibration in the earth, the kind that He wants. You see him trying to reverse things and change things and bring things back to the way he wants them to be, but yet you're fighting against it. So does that make you an enemy of the highest or an ally? Does that make you beloved or despised? See, you got to know what it is you're dealing with. And it's important to know this because you may end up being an enemy of the Most High and you don't realize it. But when you know what the Most High hates, you know the mind and the spirit that he hates. If you know, okay, as a woman, I know what the Most High really hates for his daughters. I know what he really hates for women. Okay. So now you know, okay, I'm doing XYZ, or how would the Most High feel about this? Well, if you don't have the knowledge and wisdom to know how he feels about certain things, then you're not going to have the discernment to know whether or not you're messing up in that moment. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's important for you to know this word. It's important for you to know him. Get to know Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. That way you can filter everything through the scriptures and through the spirit. All right. So again, what people call the Jezebel spirit today is the fruit of ancient goddess worship, control, seduction, reversal of order, spiritual rebellion masked as empowerment. See, that spirit didn't start in America, all right, in the United States of America. It didn't start in feminism. That was just a manifestation of it. It didn't start yesterday. It started with Ishtar, okay, who became known through other names and titles. All right, because I want to guard against awakening without wisdom, because awakening without wisdom leads to false power. All right, and this is the danger right now. Many Israelites awaken, but awaken crooked. Right, they don't return to Yahweh, they return to mysticism, ancestral spirits, and forbidden knowledge and false power. They get obsessed with all of these other books. They get obsessed with these books. And then they go into these books and then they forget that the Bible is supposed to be foundation. Then they start to turn all of these books into foundation and then make the Bible secondary, right? And then they get off track and then they become teachers who are doing this and they're teaching other people to do it and they are leading those other people astray. They have become blind leaders of the blind, destroying people. Don't let yourself be destroyed by following after somebody who's only acting as a Pied Piper for Satan, trying to walk you off the cliff like a dumb lemming. All right. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus. We want to get chapter 19. Verse 22. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. All right. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. Right. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. Neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. All right. So power without obedience puts Israel at odds with our Father. Okay. Power without obedience puts us at odds with Yahweh. All right. Verse 23, there is a wickedness and the same an abomination, and there is a fool wanting in wisdom. He that hath small understanding and feareth the Most High is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. Sit on that one for a minute. Okay, sit on that one for a minute. Okay. All right. And let's go ahead and transition to Israel, to Isaiah 42. Because Yahweh doesn't, he doesn't share Israel. Okay. Isaiah 42, verse 8. I am Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. That is my name. And my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. See, people forget that we are the glory of the Most High. See, a lot of people think this is talking about something else. The Old Testament only think this is talking about something else. They think this is a scripture that shows that Yahweh Shai is impossible because, see, the Most High ain't giving his glory like his props. Like, I ain't allowing nobody else to get my props. I ain't giving my glory to another. What are you talking about? Most High said he's going to make us gods. He's going to make us just like him. We're going to share in his glory. He told us he's going to pour out his glory on us. What do you think that means? Right? He said he will not give it to another people, which means he ain't going to make another people his people. He's not going to pour his spirit upon another people. He's never going to get rid of Israel. Never. That is his word. And his word is his bond. He's not a man that he should lie or that he says anything without knowing the full story. He's the one to call the end from the beginning. He wrote the story, right? So he says this knowing all of that. He didn't say that and then, well, one day, the Jews, uh, they gave over Christ, right? They got him killed. And so he threw them away and went and got himself, peoples from all the nations. The Bible doesn't say that. That's Christian satanic mumbo jumbo. Okay. Israel cannot serve Yahweh and goddess spirits or God spirits or whatever it is you follow. All right. You can't be into ancestor worship. Okay. You can't serve truth and delusion. Okay. You can't serve truth and delusion. That's why I will never give in to someone's delusion. I can't do it because then I don't serve the truth. I will not just say to you what you want to hear to keep you around, to keep you listening. I won't do it because I'm not serving truth. It means I'm not serving Yahweh Shai because he is the truth, right? All right. You can't serve wisdom and rebellion. All right. It has never worked and it never will work. All right. So again, there is nothing new under the sun, which means same sins still exist. The same spirits still around, still deceiving. All right. The same judgments still follow. All right. We got to return to Yahweh, not just power. So not just identity. All right. And definitely not mysticism, because Israel's power is not spiritual chaos, fam. Israel's power is obedience. And until we learn that, we will keep repeating the same ancient mistakes in modern clothing, going nowhere fast, hamster wheeling, all right? Worshiping him in vain. But I pray that we are not worshiping him in vain. And I know that I'm not. I believe it and I know it, all right? And I want you to believe it and know it. Kahalayim la Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rekakwadash. All praise, honor, and glory unto our Father Yahweh, in the name of our beloved King Hamashiach Yahushai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. I thank you guys for joining me today. I pray for you to, again, to increase in knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and then discernment. I'm trying to keep you in the fear of the Most High, help you to know Him, help you to know me. I want you to see I'm just like Him. If you know them by their fruits, who do I remind you of? Right? Who do I sound like when you hear me, right? Because His sheep hear His voice, right? Which means you're supposed to hear Him in me. Do you hear Him in me? If you don't, then run. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you don't, then run. All right. And so, again, be a blessing to someone else today if you can, or tomorrow, whenever you're given the opportunity. Each one, reach one. Till next time, Yahweh willing, Shalom, fam.